The Vinyl Chamber with Matt and Steph.
And here we go, another episode of the Vinyl Chamber podcast. How's it going over there, Matt? I imagine the nights are drawing in, are they?
Yeah, they are, Steph. Yeah, it's getting dark very, very early. Dark, like a cloak, darkness descends over here at about 4 o'clock. It seems okay, and then suddenly darkness swoops in. But this morning, as we approach this is in fact the last day of November, obviously we're recording this, it's a very crisp blue sky, but it's a bit cold, and I'm feeling a bit deflated because, well, my two football teams lost. One of those is we share that football team, and actually both teams lost by the same score yesterday, so I'm a bit deflated.
Is it the Tunbridge Angels, your other team?
Yeah, it is, but we won't talk about, that is Tunbridge Angels, and the other one we don't need to mention, but it may become apparent, but we both follow them and love them, but if I say they both sides lost 3-1, people, if they're that bothered, might be able to find out. But all good, Steph. What about over in Sydney? What's the crack there?
Well, I've just put the Christmas lights up this weekend. We've got doing a bit of I live in a sort of an enclave in my street, and everybody all the houses are lit up. And we join that with feverish excitement every year, and I've just been doing that all this weekend, really. And if I say so myself, you could probably see our house from space. So I'll.
Is that because it's so vast, or is it illuminated?
It's not that vast. So here we are. I can't believe already in episode 4.
But Steph, let me just tell you before we go on without boring any listeners senseless. Have you adjusted to summertime Christmases? And what is it like? The turkey on the beach and all that. Well, people having turkey on Bondi Beach and all that.
This is now my 21st Christmas here. In fact,
so that's time to make your mind up then, basically.
Yeah. So at the end of if I wasn't going to get used to it now, then I think since I've had a family and they don't know anything else, then it's that sort of normalised it for me. I think that's the difference. But tomorrow is actually the first day tomorrow's the 1st of December. We're recording this on the 30th of November, and the way that they do it here in Australia, rather than follow I don't know if the right word is the equinox, but they know that it's every quarter, it's the 21st of the month, isn't it? That the seasons change. The Aussies can't be doing with all that. It's a bit too complicated, so they bring it forward to the 1st of the month. So even though it ignores what the rest of the world is doing,
successfully insulted an entire nation there, Steph, within 3 words. I love it. I love stereotypes.
Well, I think it's quite endearing that actually that convention is
Some of the Aussies I met in Adelaide when I went to see the Test in 2002 might not share the same endearing trait. Some of those lads were up for a bit of anyway. Well, we digress massively, as is our wont. Should we?
Yes. So this is already episode 4. I don't know about you. I've had some. I mean, it was a soft launch. I think we agreed. It was my suggestion because I wasn't happy with the technical side of it, which is more my area. And so I thought we'd soft launch the first 3 episodes, which was our discussion on 1976. And I've had I only really circulated it to friends of ours, and many of our friends are mutual friends. And the most consistent feedback that I've had, Matt, is actually how charismatic you are.
Well, what can I say, Steph? I mean, well, thank you. I mean,
well, actually, no, that's a complete lie. Nobody said that about either of us. But what they have said is that they're really excited by the concept that we're trying to establish here, and and I think that's nobody said. In all seriousness, people love this concept, and for those joining us for the first time, Matt, you're sitting in a room which has on its walls original pressings of every UK number 1 single between 1952 and 19. I've got 19.
I am, but just before I talk about that, Steph, a bit of feedback. I had 3 emails actually. One says, "This is absolutely fantastic. Keep it up." That's from my mum.
Yeah.
Another one
She'd
said,
say that about anything you did, though,
well,
wouldn't she?
this is superb.
That's what mums
from
do.
my dad.
Yeah.
This superb's from my dad. And then it was, look, this is just two middle-aged men droning on. That's from my 17-year-old daughter. So that's. But look, going back to the room, which you very kindly teed me up. Yeah, this is the vinyl chamber. This is the kind of source of inspiration for this whole concept, this podcast, which I'm delighted to be doing with you, Steph. And this houses. In fact, we're gonna. This is a slight misnomer here because this room, in particular. Now, just if anyone's joining, this houses every single original #1 record, where possible, in original sleeve. Now, this room is the 1960s and 1970s, which is a slight misnomer because we're doing a different year this year, and that actually goes out. That invades another part of the house, and that's about as much as I could get away with in terms of a wall invasion in the Eastleigh household. But this is a collection amassed over several years, and I did it sequentially, starting in the 60s, then the 70s, then I did the 50s, and I did the 80s. And I believe, Steph, that I'm the only, but there's only 4 people in the UK I know of that have every single #1, but I believe that I'm the only one that displays them in such a fashion and has so in some ways, this room is very unique, totally unique. May even be unique in the world. I don't know.
I'm just disappointed with your command of language, Matt, which I've always admired, that you would use the phrase "very unique."
Yeah, terrible, isn't it? I mean, well, in fact, I was going to say that my only excuse is Sunday morning, but actually there is no excuse. There is no, and I'm guilty as charged, and I take that one. I deserve to actually be cast aside and chastised and never speak again. But there you go.
Look, I knew about this connection, of course, because of the collection, because we've obviously been friends for decades. But it's not until we started doing this that I've truly understood the scale of it and the energy that will have gone into curating it. It's only when you're sitting there in that room with I can only see about 20, 30 singles in this frame, but
well, there's Jerry and the Pacemakers,
yeah.
There's the Beatles, there's the Tornadoes. So yeah, you can see the 60s behind me.
Yeah.
Most people are blown away when they see
Yeah.
it. Some people are sad when they see it, but I am very proud of it. It was amassed for very personal reasons.
Yeah.
And it helped me through a very difficult stage of my life, and so for that reason, it's very, very special to me. I mean, I love record collecting anyway, but because it had kind of like a enormous spin-off benefits, and I think it looks damn good actually. You know?
Yeah, it does. It really does. And the artwork that you sent me for the socials, which I'm yet to use, but. Again, I think one that would need to be there to really truly appreciate it. But even the sort of snapshots that I've had have been quite impressive. Yeah. And I know the when and how you put it together, and obviously that's your story to tell if and when you choose. But that to me makes it all the more remarkable. And the fact there's only 4 of you in the country. I think even if there are 4, you're not the only one. It's 4 still. One of 4 is still pretty impressive. So.
I mean, I don't know. There might be some Facebook groups that are crammed with hundreds of people, but I'm not aware of it. But I don't think anyone has quite displayed them in the same way of chronologically, sequentially, and on the wall. So anyway, I actually observing my daughter's criticism of 2 middle-aged men droning on endlessly. Perhaps shall we get into it, Steph? I mean, you're the host. You do the timings and that.
All right. So look. This is episode 4 now, this project that we've started, and I'm really excited about this particular discussion because it concerns, I think, a year chock full of cracking songs, which include favourites of both of ours. It's a staggering 24 #1s from 20 artists, which means that there were 3 artists who had multiple chart toppers in this year. In the news in this particular year, what can I tell you? The Moscow Summer Olympics took place. It was an event that was heavily boycotted by several countries, including Australia, the United States and Canada, in protest of the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. The Soviet-Afghan war was going on. It's a conflict between the Soviet forces and Afghan insurgents, which intensified, drawing international criticism and leading to widespread unrest in the region. This is not coming from the top of my head, Matt. This is coming from notes, as you.
No, but I will
you'll be relieved to hear. Yeah.
No, but I will just say, Steph, that the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan actually was a direct influence on at least 2 songs in this decade.
Yeah.
In this
okay.
year, as we'll find out, there was implicit reference to that, so it's a very important reference. Yes.
Okay. All right. In this particular year or the decade?
Yeah, this particular year.
Okay. All right. Well, and we'll talk about that then. Zimbabwe gained independence. It was formerly known as Rhodesia, and it officially gained independence on the 18th of April of this year, with Robert Mugabe becoming its first prime minister. The US presidential election, what can I say? Ronald Reagan was elected president of the United States, defeating incumbent Jimmy Carter in November, who remarkably only died a few months ago. I mean, that's
the peanut farmer.
I know, but
with the big grin. Good on Jimmy Carter.
What's amazing is that he was only halfway through his life when he retired.
It's incredible.
He
was 178 when he died, wasn't he?
Well, not quite, but he did so many good things. Whatever side of the political spectrum you are, even Donald Trump had something nice to say about him when he died. And that shows that he was somebody who was capable of transcending.
Farmed great peanuts, I think.
Yeah, well, he built houses and everything. So in May of this year, the World Health Organization officially declared smallpox eradicated, marking a major milestone in global health. And you might remember this from school, Matt. The Rubik's Cube gained popularity, although it was invented in 1974. It became an international craze in this year, and I certainly remember it being the rage at school, although I was never among the few of my peers that actually cracked it. Did you crack the Rubik's Cube, Matt?
Never. I toyed with it. It made quite a good weapon, actually, if someone annoyed you could bang it on someone's head. But,
I remember those things were indestructible.
Yeah, they were.
I think people tried taking them.
That's why they made good weapons, I tell you. But there was a couple of blokes in my year at St Mary's Grammar in Sidcup that would get them, but not be able to do it, then just smash them on people's heads. Not smash them, actually crack them.
I remember
dual function.
Well, yes, I remember trying to take one apart, or maybe even peel the stickers off. I couldn't quite remember, but I was trying to find a way of getting around not being able to do it by giving the impression that I was able to do it by other means. But I do remember failing.
Yeah, those very strange people. They tended to be very strange people that could do it in seconds, like with these strange very rapid hand movements.
Yeah, I agree. So maybe I should draw comfort from the fact that it was never within my grasp, as it were. So in culture, the second film in the original Star Wars trilogy, The Empire Strikes Back became a massive box office success and a cultural phenomenon. Matt, were you a Star Wars, or are you a Star Wars nut?
I was probably going to alienate the 7 people that are listening here, but I actually wasn't. In fact, I was I was absolutely not, and I felt that I was kind of alone in that, because I remember how big that Star Wars was at the time, and I hate to admit it, Steph, I never understood it, and I didn't understand it then, and I still don't understand it. Someone says, "What's Star Wars about?" Yeah. I mean, my wife laughs at me because she's, things like, but any of that stuff, Star Wars, Star Trek. Couldn't tell you what it's about. Don't understand the concept. Anyway,
I remember about 20 years ago, I was still actually over that because I was still living in the UK, and the weather was bad. I didn't have much work on. It was January, and I thought, I've got time to kill here. What am I going to do? I thought, right, I'm going to align myself with the rest of society, and I'm going to watch Star Wars for the first time. This is in 2002, 2003. So at that time, there were only 6 movies, and I watched all 6 of them back to back, and I kind of enjoyed them, but I've not watched them since, and I haven't really.
That you must have had a real lot of time on your hands, Steph, to watch all 6 in a row. I mean, it's almost like a form of incarceration.
Yes, well, that's you could be right there. AC/DC released Back in Black. This is obviously the one of the best-selling albums of all time, and it certainly solidified their place in music history. I've never been a huge follower of AC/DC, but whenever I've seen clips of them or listened to them, I just think this is the quintessential rock and roll band. I mean, you can't. I mean, whether you're a fan of their music,
I don't mind
not,
a bit of I don't mind a bit of AC/DC. I mean, that was actually a half decent album, I think, Back in Black. Is it Hell's Bells? I think is their first song on that, which I quite
right.
like.
Okay.
AC/DC. They were a big band, and I think at school, kind of almost the class was almost divided between the kind of the metalheads and the soul boys and a sprinkling of kind of mods, you know.
Yeah.
But it was okay.
Yeah. And if our audience hasn't yet guessed what the year is, I'm about to confirm it now, that this was the year that John Lennon was tragically murdered in New York City on the 8th of December. I think it's the 8th of December. I hope I'm right about that.
Absolutely, it was at the 8th of December, yeah.
And
what a terrible day that was, and I say that really sincerely. And I remember the stark. We'll come to that because obviously that impacts on this year, but that was a terrible moment.
Yeah. So I'll speak, of course, of 1980. You and I were both in the third year. Well, I suppose now it'd be called Year 9, but back then we called it third year secondary. I was awkwardly 15, and this was the year that my interest in prog actually really took hold. But I did keep a close eye on what was going on elsewhere through the weekly purchase on the way to the bus stop at Bromley North Station of the Record Mirror. Tell me, Matt, what do you remember about, where were you in your music discovery, your evolution of your...
Yeah, 1980. I mean, I was a very young adopter of music because I had an older brother and sister, so I was immersed in music from the age of about 5 or 6. So very much into early Bowie. But 80, I was very much. I mean, I was the Beatles for me were everything at that age. Hugely into the Beatles, hugely into the Beach Boys, but also I was massively enthralled with new wave. So I was all over the Jam, Specials, loved Two Tone, loved Tamla Motown, and loved Blondie as well. And Blondie and the Police, and these are bands that we'll be coming to. Elvis Costello, Nick Lowe, very much into that kind of stuff, that jangly guitar stuff. And but for me, it all starts with the Beatles. But I was starting to look back as well, a lot of other 60s bands at this stage as well. The Who, the Stones, who I'd discovered slightly earlier. But big year for me. Difficult time for me, actually, personally. I mean, we moved house from the childhood home I grew up in Bexley to a larger property in another part of Bexley, one that you'll be aware of, Steph. And
that's where you lived when I met you, was it?
Yeah, a very, very difficult transition, actually. I was very, very reluctant to leave my childhood home, and it was quite a difficult year for me, 1980. And so my teenage years, but music was a bit of a saviour. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but the bands like the Jam, and there's other songs of the time, Peter Gabriel, the Vapors, Martha and the Muffins in this year that I kind of loved and helped me through it. Anyway, that's all by the by.
All right, well, let's make a start then, and we'll talk about more about this, but let's just get straight into it because it's a fantastic start this is.
Got this in pocket, gunpowder, I'm gonna use it. Intention, I'm feeling mental, gonna make you notice. Got motion, restrained emotion. I've been diving, detour leaning, no reason. Just seems so pleasing. Gonna make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my side step, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination. 'Cause I gonna make you see. Nobody else here, no one like me. I'm special, so special. I gotta have some of your attention. Give it to me.
So, Matt, what a cracking start to the decade that was.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, Steph, isn't it? As you say, displaced Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd, last number one of the 70s, and then this one hit the top on the 19th of January. It was number one for 2 weeks, and great song. Originated as you know, as a simple guitar link written by the wonderful James Honeyman Scott. Now, Honeyman Scott. Obviously, I'm going to talk about Chrissie Hynde, but Honeyman Scott, who loved the big, jangly, Rickenbacker-inspired guitar of the Beatles, and especially Roger McGuinn and the Byrds. But he was also inspired by very new wave artists like Nick Lowe and Elvis Costello, and he'd adopted that.
Can I just interrupt you there? What is
Sure.
how did he, as a guitarist? Perhaps you can tell me. And how did he achieve that jangly sound?
Well, I think the guitar he was using, which we'll have to check that out, but a lot of echo, very clean, crisp notes. I mean, the hallmark, if you like, is the Rickenbacker, is an absence of distortion, just very clear, picked notes, almost like kind of, I call it like raindrops, almost like, and very much inspired by that. And you can see it. After Honeyman Scott, it was picked up by particularly Johnny Marr of the Smiths, and then you can look at John Squire of the Stone Roses, Graham Coxon of Blur, used this kind of thing. But very much a kind of 60s sound, and really had heard that first on the Kinks cover, Pretenders cover of the Kinks' Stop Your Sobbing, and then the Fantastic Kid of 1979, and which is a song I played constantly, and it. So I love Honeyman Scott's guitar work. It's sort of a late 60s, almost sci-fi guitar sound. I'm actually reminded of the Joe 90 theme played by, now get this for a great name, Steph, Vic Flick, who played on the Joe 90 theme, straight out of a comic book. But what I liked about the Pretenders was, first of all, we had Chrissie, Honeyman Scott is a great guitar player, but Chrissie Hynde was that kind of in-your-face girl leader of the gang kind of thing, take no crap kind of thing,
Well, I didn't realise she was part of the Malcolm McLaren, Vivienne Westwood scene. I didn't realise it. Until I saw the documentary recently, and she was the American girl that was hanging around with them. I had no idea that was her.
It was all a bit incestuous as well. I think she was kind of, it was kind of who you know. She was, I think, pretty sure she was a journalist on the NME bit thing. But she was in a fine tradition of kind of leading girl singers. You go back to Janis Joplin, Grace Slick in Jefferson Airplane, and Patti Smith, and then of course at the same time, Debbie Harry, who we'll come to, and perhaps Joan Jett a little more. But I think musically. It starts with those lovely jangly chords, which is like straight away, lays out what it's about, and a lovely little bass slide by Pete Farndon. There's obviously tragedy about what happened to the Pretenders, but I think the song really fits Hynde's persona. The way she sings it, it's kind of sassy, cocksure and brash. And funnily enough, it mixes a bit of London slang, a bit of northern slang, and a bit of American slang. Yeah. Phrases like brass, bottle, Detroit leaning, which is apparently driving with one arm and putting resting your arm on the side, new skank. And yeah, I think it's a really, really great song. And I love that sound. Of course, and we can't, talk about the Pretenders without saying what a tragedy it was that Honeyman Scott died at 25 and Pete Farndon died at 30. But and let's not forget the drumming work of Martin Chambers gives it a lovely chugging sound. So I think it's a beautiful song. And Steph, what do you think of it? I mean, I love it and I think it's great, but particularly the guitar work for me. But
I love the way that 2 bars and it's straight into the song, straight into the vocal. That to me is a sign of a strong song. It's like, well, I'm not going to stuff around. We're going to get straight to it. But what I like about this, and I think you can draw a line between Chrissie Hynde and from the same era, Debbie Harry, I think to a certain extent, but certainly Chrissie Hynde with I think this today is a great age for young female singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
But I think that you can draw a line between, Taylor Swift and
absolutely
Rodrigo, Sabrina Carpenter and Chrissie Hynde, because what they have in common is that they are female lead singers proclaiming their agency, and that now is probably a more comfortable space. I don't want to get too into the weeds with this, but I think now that would be celebrated more, than it would have been then. And I think, I mean, I don't know, I was 15.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
I think Chrissie Hynde would have had to work harder to be heard at that time.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
You know what I mean?
And I think they're trailblazers as well. I think they paved the way for, your Billie Eilish's and, going back a few, Alanis Morissette and these kind of singers. I think, that's why it started with Grace Slick and Janis Joplin from the late 60s, early 70s, that fine tradition. And, but it seemed to be that, and I remember watching Chrissie Hynde and thought, you've got attitude, in a good way.
Yeah.
She was like, and this song is actually about that. It's about having confidence, using that word bottle.
Yes.
It's about Brass in Pocket and actually looking into the background of this song. And Chrissie Hynde very much had that at the forefront of her mind. This is about going up on stage, being, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. I'm going to sing it. And I'm not intimidated. And I think it was a very, in a way, a kind of a feminist song.
Yes.
In a way. And I think you're absolutely right. Now, the two middle-aged men talking about feminism is never an easy subject, but I'd like to think women would hopefully agree with this, Steph.
Yeah. And look, I've got two daughters, the youngest of whom is just on the cusp of adolescence. So as you can imagine, I'm probably have more knowledge and expertise on Chappell Roan and Charlie XCX than perhaps other typical 60-year-old man would have. But I love all this music. I listened to Sabrina Carpenter by choice on the way to work the other day, and it's just some cracking melodies. And in her particular case, she enjoys using synth sounds from the 80s. But look, I'm probably digressing a bit. But unless there's anything else you want to say about the excellent Brass in Pocket, Matt.
Just to finally say, I mean, do you hear that kind of guitar thing? I maybe went on too long, but that kind of very much that kind of, as I say, you asked about what it is. It's that kind of a very clear, playing almost a melody behind the main song, individual guitars. And Honeyman Scott is kind of a bridge, I think, between the kind of 60s, or Roger McGuinn, George Harrison, Tom Petty getting the 70s, but and then later guitarists like John Squire and Graham Coxon and Johnny Marr, of course. So really great song in so many ways, and what a great way to start the year, as you say.
Yes, I think the arrangement is quite sparse as well. I mean, it's probably more complicated than it sounds, but the point is they are the drummer, the bass. I love the bass playing during the chorus actually.
Yeah, Pete Farndon. Farndon.
But everybody's staying in their lane, and they are and leaving space for her to deliver that cracking vocal and that melody and that distinctive, unique. You know what I mean? And this is the perfect blend, and this is the band where they're all listening to each other, and it's wonderful. I love Brass in Pocket. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, I love this one too.
So do I.
Too much too young. You done too much too young. You're married with a kid when you could be having fun with me. No more baby. You done too much too young, and now you're married with a son when you should be having fun with me. We don't want no more baby. And take her. He's got another wild ass day. You done too much too young. You're married with a kid when you could be having fun with me. No more baby. Call me immature, call me a poser. I'll spend on you in your bed on roses. Don't wanna be rich, don't wanna be famous, but I'm gonna have to say.
Well, Matt, there's lots to unpack there. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I mean, called the Special, aka Live EP, only the second EP to hit the top actually after the Demis Roussos phenomenon, which we actually
covered last time. Yeah,
the Roussos phenomenon, which we covered in '76, 2nd of February to 16th of February. I mean, written by Jerry Dammers and Lloyd Chalmers, and got some a bit of history to this. Of course, Specials had preceded this with two outstanding singles, Gangsters, which I absolutely love, and then the more gentle dub style, The Message to You, Rudy. And people were going mad for stuff on the Two Tone label in late '79 and early '80. bands like the Beat and the Selector, very much associated with the mod revival of '79. To large, it'd come on the back of the Quadrophenia film, but Two-Tone very much its own genre, really, and that wonderful logo designed by Jerry Dammers of a man called Walt Javsko, which is the kind of the Two-Tone man, and which was a deliberate fusion of black and white. And was basically, the specials were about, was a plea for racial harmony at a very difficult time. And I think when you think of the specials, people probably think of Terry Hall and possibly Neville Staples, but the driving force was Jerry Dammers, who played keyboards and who really devised the concept of a multiracial band promoting racial harmony. And if I can just give you a quick bit of history, and listeners, Too Much Too Young is something of a complicated history. It was based on a 1969 track called Birth Control, almost a comedy record, really, by Lloyd Terrell. And Dammers dusted it down, sped it up, and added new lyrics. And what great lyrics as well. And there's that lovely John Bradbury's great little rat-a-tat drum start, and then Terry Hall's tenor voice, and that unforgettable line, "You've done too much, much too young. Now you're married with a kid when you could be having fun with me." It's just great. And this is an EP with 4 songs, all covers. I absolutely love the cover, by the way, of Guns of Navarone. Beautiful chords and great key changes. Don't know if listeners aren't familiar with that, go and check it out. But just a great band to me. The Specials, very much of their time. As I say, the 81 was a difficult time for kind of race relations in this country, and it exploded in 81 with race riots across the country. And of course, they had that song. They had #1 Ghost Town, but. This was brilliant. I love it, and fantastic band.
I think, looking back on Terry Hall's career, I think this was probably, the Special is probably the edgiest thing that he did, because with the Colourfield, which was his next project, and his solo work, I think, found him comfortable in the middle of the road. I don't want to sound sort of disparaging about that, because the music that he then, the styles that he then went into, lyrically, they were very melodic, and I think, but they still had his I think trademark way of delivering a lyric and a melody. But it was perhaps not as the work that he did after this, and I love it all. I love the Colourfield. I love his solo work.
Fun Boy 3 as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, there's a Fun Boy 3 in between. Yes, so that, which is probably more closely allied with this, actually. But anyway. But I like everything about him, and I was very sad when he died 3 years ago. And in doing a deep dive at that time, I found I think I shared this with you, a wonderful clip of him doing a duet with Sinead O'Connor of the Eurovision song by Dana, All Kinds of Everything.
Yeah, you did.
So I think in 1998, I don't know if you remember that show, Eurotrash. They had people, most unlikely people, covering Eurovision songs, and we'll come to another one later on in this discussion, actually. Yeah. But this is this one was Sinead O'Connor and Terry Hall doing All Kinds of Everything, and the video is very simple, and the way they deliver the song is very simple. It's not a complicated song, is it? But it's just very endearing. And what I'll do, I'll put a link in the show notes and in the YouTube comments. So if anybody's interested, they can check that out.
It's interesting, Steph. You talked about Terry Hall. Actually, yeah, I mean, Terry Hall's kind of a given with the Specials, but I found myself kind of exploring other aspects of the band with this thing, like Horace Panter on the bass. Some great bass playing on this. I mentioned John Bradbury's drums. Just the feel of this, the feel, or the ska by definition is kind of sped up reggae, if you like, with the beats on the second and fourth beats of the bar, and great exponents of it. But it takes great bass playing and great drumming to pull that off, and of course lovely keyboard work from Jerry Dammers. So yes, Terry Hall is the kind of the face of the Specials, if you like, but let's not forget Neville Staples and the other ones. And this was just great, and it was quite a different #1, if you like. It was kind of, yes, there had been other new wave #1s, but this really showed where we were as a record buying public at the time. I know we'll go from the sublime to not the ridiculous, but the next one is probably more mainstream and obvious. But this one was I was really pleased when this got to number one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain. Well, didn't this go? No, it didn't go straight in at number one. No, forget that. It was the EP that made it different. It was the fact it was an EP.
Was there a studio version of this?
Yes, there is a studio. I think this may have been. This one was. I think it was recorded live in Coventry, which of course is the hometown of the Specials. I think it was.
I don't want to talk about Coventry this weekend. Thank you very much.
No, we don't want to talk about Coventry. We don't. But Frank Lampard is doing a great job there. But yeah, we don't want to talk about Coventry. But I mean, I just love the Specials. I mean, they're great. Following this, they're the great run of singles, Rat Race, Stereotype, and Do Nothing. I love them all, and of course, you know, number one in 1981 with Ghost Town, and I think this is just great. I don't want to. We don't want to sort of eulogise unnecessarily about songs, but I mean, this is, and we certainly won't be eulogising about all songs in 1980. I won't be anyway.
Well, not the next one, that's for sure. But
this one I am going to eulogise about. And I think this is absolutely great, and a very, very important band, Steph.
Yeah,
very important band, mixing sort of black and white, and you know, the sounds of two nations, if you like. Really important, really important.
I remember an iteration of the Specials. I think it might even have been after Terry Hall had left, of them singing that Free Nelson Mandela song on top of the pops with Elvis Costello. Was that after Terry Hall had left, or was he still in the band then? I can't remember.
I think he'd left by
gone,
then. It was 1984, I think, Free Nelson Mandela. I think Hall had gone in about 82, 83.
Yeah, he was doing Fun Boy 3 by then, wasn't he?
Fun Boy 3 and the Colourfield after that, which was, but very important band, great band, fondly remembered, as is Terry Hall. And, great.
All right, then. Well, let's take a quantum leap into this.
Everyone considered him the coward of the county. He'd never stood one single time to prove the county wrong. His mama named him Tommy, but folks just called him Yellow. Something always told me they were reading Tommy wrong. He was only 10 years old when his daddy died in prison. I looked after Tommy 'cause he was my brother's son. I still recall the final words my brother said to Tommy. Son, my life is over, but yours has just begun. Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble if you can. It won't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man. There's someone for everyone, and Tommy's love was Becky. In her arms he didn't have to prove he was a man. One day while he was working, the Gatlin boys came calling. They took turns at Becky, and there was 3 of them. Tommy,
all right, Matt. Well, a touching tale about gang rape there. Just a spoiler alert. Johnny gets his. Is it Johnny? Oh, I can't even remember his name.
Tommy.
Yes, he gets his revenge on the Gatlin boys, and in about 5 or 10 minutes' time. All right. Well, I like Kenny Rogers. I'm not this. I don't think this was the highlight of his. Yes, you must hold the records up. So just go a bit closer to the camera there, Matt. Let's just see if we can feel the frame. Yes, on the United Artists record label.
United Artists record label.
Yeah.
Well, do you want me to talk, Steph? Do you want to give me my perspective?
Yes.
I mean,
I'd like that.
It's too easy to knock these songs. So easy. That's exactly what I'm going to do. No, let's do a bit of history first of all. I mean, it was written by Billy Ed Wheeler, who died last year, age 92, and Roger Bowling. Now also wrote Lucille and Blanket on the Ground. He tragically committed suicide in 1982, aged 38, after being diagnosed with terminal cancer. But love it or loathe it, old Kenny, with that gravelly voice and the sort of perfectly coiffured beard, which I wish I could take a lesson out of his book, actually. He loved the story, didn't he? Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town, with Kenny Rogers in the first edition, got to number 2 in 1969, and then he enjoyed another number 1 in 1977 with Lucille. So he loved the story about people. And look, people love stories. Ballads. This is a ballad. This is a song that I won't profess to particularly like. Standard 3-chord pattern, C, F and G. The only note real of musical interest is the fact it goes up a semitone halfway through. But, you know, I think people love a bit of morality, don't they? Homespun philosophy, and there's those lines, aren't they? Son, you don't have to fight to be a man. Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. It's all a bit Hollywood, isn't it? And quick recollection, if I may, actually. Again, mentioning St Mary's School in Sidcup, a great mate of mine, Kevin Aitchison, best man at his wedding. He's now Kevin Aitchison MBE. He was head boy at school. Now he had a big shock of ginger hair. He was a chubby lad back then, and he's felt and fit
Did
now.
he used to come to our gigs in the 80s? I think I can picture
He
him.
might well have done. He might well have done. Fat with ginger hair. No, I shouldn't say that. Sorry, Kev. There was a right cheeky chap in our year called Paul Miller, diminutive pint-sized chap with a ready smile. Lovely little chat. And he used to sing to him, everybody considered Kev the carrot of the county because of the red hair, you see.
Nice.
And it used to
I
wind
see what he
Kev
did
up.
there, yeah.
Absolutely. And but it not the greatest gag, but I mean, it shows the way songs have an ability to transcend the airwaves and be kind of reference on the playground or in factories and things like that. So Kenny Rogers, we risk alienate. Some people absolutely love Kenny and the whole. I don't particularly get the country and western genre, but I respect it because it brings, people love it and all over it, and it's a multi-billion-pound industry, and I think this got to number one because of the story, which you so eloquently summed up as a tale of gang rape, which we're certainly not going to belittle or make fun of, but it was a curious number.
Yes, I don't know what else to say really. In my notes here, I've got a compelling bit of storytelling. I'm going to edit this. In my notes here, I've got a compelling bit of storytelling in Kenny Rogers' trademark laconic drawl. What do you think of that?
Fair. I like laconic drawl. Yeah, he'll probably like that himself. Actually, I mean, I can't get past the beard with Kenny Rogers. It's just too well coiffured. I never trust a man with a perfectly coiffured beard. It shows a man that pays far too much attention to himself. Yeah. If anyone's watching the visual version of this, they'll see what it looks like to see a man who doesn't pay too much attention
the
to
two of us,
his beard.
yeah.
Well, indeed, yeah. I think you're slight. Well, yeah, possibly, yeah. But
you've got more close up than me. I've deliberately
very wise. Got more better camera tech. Actually, someone actually said once I looked like Kenny Rogers, and I don't know if that was a gross insult or whether to take it as a compliment. But
well, I think taking it as highest, he certainly had a body of work which was worthy of commendation.
100%, and we shouldn't be dismissive about these. I mean, we're not being dismissive. We're just looking at these as songs. This is a song, and I'm very firmly of the belief whereby I can despise an artist, which I don't, Kenny Rogers, but if that person brings out a song I like, I don't have a problem really liking that, saying I like that song, because this is all about a judgment on individual songs. Yes, we reference other songs at the time, but Coward of the County, number one for 2 weeks. We had a succession of number ones for 2 weeks, actually, and
first 4, but it would seem.
Yeah. I think we're about to go to another one, aren't we? Yeah.